how do we unblock physical energy? Now, I'd be lying if I said I didn't care about aesthetics. We all have a certain level of vanity where we are concerned with how we physically look. But there's more to physical health than just looking good. In fact, I think that our physical energy becomes blocked due to the over-prioritization of building big muscles rather than, building a strong and healthy body. And the truth of the matter is you can actually have both, but the latter has to come first. Okay, so what makes a strong and healthy body? Well, here are some of the things that you want to prioritize. The first one being improve your mobility. We lose about 10% of flexibility for every 10 years that we age. And if you didn't establish a flexibility or mobility routine when you were younger, if you're just getting into the game now, then you got a lot of years to catch up on. But don't let that discourage you, because you can still get an adequate amount of flexibility to avoid any injuries that you might sustain from your regular training. The next tip is build strength. Lift heavy, get strong. Whether you're a man or a woman, non-binary, it doesn't matter. You need to be lifting heavy. Now, this next tip is somewhat optional, but I'd be remiss if I didn't add this in as a tip, and it's to work in. Now, we're familiar with working out, but working in refers more to internal practices such as Qigong or Tai Chi. I've really been experimenting a lot with Qigong, and I remember I used to see the elderly practicing Tai Chi in the park all the time when I was younger, and I had no idea what it was. It looked really silly to me as a young kid. It's allowed me to adopt a more softer approach to the high intense work that I often am typically used to. This is great for anyone who has a difficult time doing seated meditation. Something that involves a little bit more movement would be a lot more beneficial. So yoga could even be considered a work in practice because of the spiritual components that are associated with it as well. So whether you choose the yoga route or the Tai Chi or Qigong route, I think either or would be very optimal and an optimal addition to your daily practice. Another method for unblocking physical energy is manual therapy. And this can be manual therapy of any kind. Whether you're training, whether you're playing a sport, whether you do martial arts, I highly recommend that you do some form of manual therapy at least once a month, just to make sure that things are moving nicely and that you're releasing any tension that you accumulate from all that high intensity work with your movement practice or whatever other practice that you're involved in. And it is a great stress reliever, I'll tell you that much. So I should probably take my own advice and do more manual therapy. I don't do nearly as much as I should, given what I do in my profession. But yes, manual therapy is a great way to unblock physical energy. And of course, I'm going to add nutrition into this as well. Eating well is another big one in terms of unblocking physical energy. As the saying goes, you are what you eat. And if you're eating nothing but crap, then, well, how do you think you're going to feel afterwards, right? I say that with a small caveat here. It's important to eat well, but I believe in a nice, healthy balance. So I personally follow the 80-20 principle. And it's basically I eat clean 80% of the week, and then 20% is allotted to eating whatever I want. Now, I don't overindulge, but I do indulge. My whole thought process behind it is if I'm eating clean throughout the week, Monday to Friday, then I deserve to have a pizza, right? I mean, I work hard, I train hard, I should eat hard too, you know what I mean? So I think that you can have a nice balance of eating clean and eating good quality foods, but also having a little treat here and there. And obviously this is an oversimplification of eating well. There is a little bit more to it in terms of how many calories you should be consuming, what your macro ratio should be. But generally speaking, a general consensus is that you just want to be eating sensibly. Now, proper sleep is a big one. Almost every client that I've worked with has started off having really crappy sleep. It's very rare that I encounter somebody that's my age or maybe a little bit older than me that says to me that they get 8+ hours of sleep. Now, it's not so much the quantity of sleep, although that is important, but it's more so about the quality of sleep. So developing a good sleeping routine is going to be vital for you. So for me, for example, I've started going to bed no later than 11 p.m. Am I always diligent with that? No, sometimes I break the rules. It happens. I'm human. But for the most part, my bedtime is 11. By doing this and having a set routine, I basically train my body to get used to that particular sleep pattern. So it's very important that you get proper sleep, develop a good sleep routine. That's going to be a key thing in unblocking any physical energy blocks that you might be having.